Boko Haram bandits and herdsmen can be pardoned, then I don't think anybody should be in jail. Man's opinion. In the early hours of Monday, it was reported that gunmen stormed a prison facility in Override, Imo. And I think it's Owerri. So, and there was a heavy firearm exchange between the gunmen and the policeman and other guards of the prison. After the gunmen overpowering the men on guard, they opened the Owerri prison for the inmates to go. It was reported that over 2,000 inmates were freed and the prison facility was set ablaze. The action of these people got reactions from people across the country because many feel this is a situation that has been recurring for months now. The security state of this country is quite alarming and it is getting worse daily as no one could predict what will happen tomorrow. A man by name Lawrence Chukwu, okay, it's a very long name, no disrespect, I cannot pronounce it, said in his comments on the attack on the Owerri prison that if Boko Haram bandits and herdsmen can be pardoned, then I don't think anybody should be in jail. Another person by name Alassane Musa Muhammadu said, I am waiting to see that country full of first-class criminals established. Abdullah Mohammed says, when Boko Haram started, we became so happy, rather we fell victim. I weep for you, you have lost your future. While Abdul M. Jalal said, kudos to Eastern Security Network, at least the freed prisoners will join them in creating more havoc on their most targeted innocent people. What does that mean? Please. So yeah, I think you don't label it as, especially when it's not confirmed. I think at this point, Nigeria's whole existence and things that happen is always alleged because first of all, systems are not put in place for us to, investigate things like this. Because why? It will not help the Ministry of Corruption in Nigeria. So obviously, everything is always alleged. But yeah, I think that it's sad, but it's the logic that works in a country like Nigeria. If Boko Haram bandits and herdsmen can be pardoned, then I don't think anybody should be in jail. Absolutely. 100%. So it's like, if it's not a pardon, I think we need to get it right. It's not just a pardon. It's a pardon plus compensation, millions of nairas worth of compensation, and you just think that they'd stop? Doesn't make sense. That's a good riddance. I'm in support of their action. I wish I was there. What about other prisons? We need to free the prisoners and burn the useless facilities since Boko Haram bandits etc. Yeah, it's so sad because again, with our history, crime rates were so low. I'm talking again before colonialism, before slave trade, the way we were living from history and what we know, there were no prison systems because crime rates were little to none. It was like we were living good lives. So for crime rates to be as little to none, we're talking about infrastructures put in place where there was no excuse for you to commit crimes. And it's so sad that this is where we've come to. Someone says the Fulani Northern leadership has eventually set the unity of Nigeria to the point of no return. True? How do you know this secret is the Eastern Security Network? That is the thing. It's always alleged, but again, it's anything that happens in the southeast is just ESN, and it's the country that they live in. So I guess that they should not be surprised because again, the propaganda against Biafrans has been since the time. Another comment here says the country is already filled with criminals since Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen are everywhere. Nothing is happening to the south, to the people of the southeast. I agree with this man. Another comment here says, I hate when leaders are visionless and heavily nepotistic, I guess this person wants to say. This beautiful Nigeria good people from north, east, west, and south, those were happy. In those days were happy. Criminal leaders have split. It's too late now. Yeah, I think that's true. I think propaganda is making it seem like as if it's an ideology problem. It's a thing of, oh, you Hausa, you Igbo, you Yoruba. At the end of the day, the fact is, in a sane and normal world, unity is obviously more powerful. But there, again, it's like everyone is not willing to look at the bigger picture, and the propaganda of self-hatred is really working because the problem is not necessarily with a tribe or a region. I guess because again, I don't think that it should matter. Like if people are going for presidency or running for that, I think we should think of if the person is good or not, if the person has had a corrupt history or not because let at least every region in the country be president. Like, why should that matter if we're all Nigerians? So again, it's like, mentally, do we already see ourselves as one, as Nigerians? I don't think so. It's highly unlikely. Therefore, it's when it comes to these things and just labeling, and it just shows the divisive nature, and it shows that it doesn't even take a lot to set Nigerians off in terms of bringing out that tribalistic nature. It doesn't take much. Something can just happen. Everyone goes back to building their groups. Everyone goes back to putting people in boxes and stereotypes. And it doesn't take much. It just takes a few things to aggravate and start the conversation. So yeah. So it's like, again, with the ESN, it doesn't make sense. And we already know that, with Biafrans, they've been like number one enemy of the government. It's very obvious to see. And it shows that the government is threatened by Biafrans. Someone here says, better as they free them until Buhari cage all his evil traitors. Unknown gunmen do not attack innocent people. They are God sent. If that's what you feel. Someone says, unknown gunmen are not attacking any other human being apart from the military and the police. So they are not like the Boko Haram who are targeting Christians in the north and their churches, and then later became aggressive against the military and police because of whatever goes around comes around. That's a high possibility, because again, these prisoners were freed. So again, in as much as it's not ideal for the government or whatever, it's kind of a good act, but in a way that's done wrong. In a normal sense, in Nigeria, this doesn't pull weight or anything. But yeah, so again, it's kind of like a good act, but obviously. So again, that's true. It cannot be Boko Haram. And I guess it's sort of why people say ESN is because ESN are actually doing good. ESN are there for the protection of the people, and I guess ESN are the only sort of security group that is not in line with the government. So yeah. So I get how in some ways ESN will sort of be the first sort of suspect when it comes to issues like this. But then they've come out and said that they are not the ones who do this. We are watching Nigeria as her situation gets worse by the day. Preach, that's it. It's getting worse. And I thought that, we would all learn from the NSAS protest, because in my opinion, I think that we waited a bit too long. But I just do not want a situation where we would wait, we would be too scared, or would be too tired, or be too traumatized, and things will get absolutely worse, where we don't even fear death anymore, because there's nothing to live for. But the fact is, we have chosen to have gotten to that point, and I don't want us to get there. I don't want us to get there, because the fight would become more gruesome, and it would just become nasty. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.